All right, Ben, to make changes to your book, you're going to have to edit the flowers.htm document that I will include in the email with the link to this video. That flowers document has all the EndNote changes that you made and all the changes that you've requested to date, like renaming chapters 14 and 15 and things like that. So download the flowers.htm document and then open it in your folder. We're not going to edit it in Word because that creates problems. And we're actually going to open two copies of the document. One's going to be open in your browser, another's going to be open in something called Notepad. So this is the document. I've renamed it from Flowers 1 to just Flowers. And to open it, I want you to right click it and then go to Open With. And I think you use Firefox, so I'm going to open it with Firefox. This is not an editable document in Firefox. I just want to copy open for a reason that I'll explain in a little bit. Then also right click it and open with Notepad. If I'm going to go ahead and open Notepad by just clicking on opening it in Notepad by just clicking on it. Yours, I'm not quite sure if it displays the open with Notepad because I have recently used Notepad, or it's just available as an option. Hopefully it will show up when you right click Flowers, and it's not the open one you want, it's the open with one that you want, because here you get to choose the software that you use to open it. If you go open with Notepad and it's not, or sorry, if you go open with and Notepad is not an option, then click on the Start button, click on All Programs. I have a lot of programs. You probably won't have that many. Find the folder that says Accessories and left click it. And Notepad will be one of your options under there. So click Notepad here. I'm not going to do it because I already have it open. Click Notepad here, and then there's a File Open function in Notepad that you can open the document with. I no longer need the folder open, so I'm going to close it. Now we want both of these pieces of software open, each taking up half of our screen. If I put my cursor up here in the top band of Notepad, and I don't have this window maximized. It's what do they call that? I don't know. It's just not taking up my full screen, so I can move it around. If I move it to the center of one side of the screen, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to move it to the center of one side of my screen. Windows will then acknowledge, hey, she's moved it to the place where she wants it to take up exactly half of her monitor. So it pops it open to half of that. So now I'm going to click on the Firefox version. I can also grab it with my mouse and move it. I'm going to move it to the center of the other side of the screen. So now I've got both copies of the document open. I'm just going to go through here, and I'm going to pick a word, and let's say you want to change this particular word. So let's say you see this word consider and you'd like to change it to thinking about, which I'm pretty sure you don't want to do, but just for demonstration purposes. So you found the word that you want to change. Go to your Notepad document. Oops, I accidentally clicked something that made it reposition itself on the screen to a place I don't want. Just going to drag it back to the middle of the right side of the screen to reset it. Well, the word consider I can see is, you might have the word consider in this document multiple times. I want to find this instance of the word consider. So in my Notepad document, I'm going to click on it once to activate it. File, Edit, Find, or I can just press Control F, which is a lot quicker. And I'm going to type, since if I just were to type the word consider, you might have 10 incidents of that word in your document. I don't want to find all 10 of them. I want to find this specific one. And so I know that how a theory follows the word consider. So I'm going to say consider how a theory. I'm going to tell it to find that. You have to spell every word right. You have to have every space that's there. And then I'm going to go find next. Since I'm right at the beginning of the document, I'm going to tell it to search down in my document, not up in my document. If I wanted to match the exact case, so if I had the word consider capitalized, I could make sure it did that. Alright, I'm going to scroll. It found it, but I clicked and it unhighlighted it, but I'm going to rehighlight it. So here's, and consider how a theory about the nature of knowledge, I can see that is the right place in the book. And if I want to change the word consider to thinking about, I just highlight the word consider and type thinking about. Now I want to check over here in the left document to make sure it's going to look right. You can see it didn't change in the left document. I haven't saved it in the Notepad document yet. So I'm just going to click File, Save. And then if I press the Reload button in Firefox, that's the left document, it will reload the saved document, the document that I just saved. The reload button is this little curved arrow right here. It's normally gray, but when I put my cursor over it, it turns sort of blue. So I'm going to press reload, and you can see it change thinking about to consider. I'm going to actually undo this, because this is the actual document that I'm going to send you, and I know you don't want the word consider changed to thinking about. And again, if I press reload here on the left document, it hasn't changed it yet because I didn't actually save after I undid my changing of the word consider over here. But if I hit File, Save, then reload this document, it changes it back. The reason that I want both documents, I would have both documents open at the same time. For instance, your name had that weird spacing issue between the two S's. Boy, I don't know if I can quickly show you that. See, your last name is odd here because you have spaces between every word. Oh, it couldn't find it down, so I'm going to tell it to look up. Alright, so it found it, and it's right here. You'll notice that it looks really weird. HTML, which is what this document is, and it has to be because that's the only type of document you can convert to a Kindle, doesn't, if you have more than one space in a row, it ignores all spaces after the first one. So we typed A space, E space, N space, G space. There was only a single space between every letter until you got to the S of Angus. Then you wanted multiple spaces before you started typing song. HTML only considered the first space. Even if we put 5 spaces in a row between the two S's, it only looks at the first one and ignores the other 4. The way to fix that is to input this special code that I have highlighted. I wasn't sure it was going to work, So I input it, saved it, and then viewed it in the HTML Firefox document just to make sure it did actually work, and it did. So this should be fine now in your Kindle version. But basically, I have it open in the left document just to quickly discover if the changes I make in the right document are actually going to work. That was because I was making some formatting changes. If you're just making changes in misspelled words or typos or something like that, you might not need it. Now, when you go to edit the HTML document in Notepad, you just have to be incredibly careful that you don't screw up any of these codes. Any of these weird codes, you can't delete this greater than sign because it means something in the HTML code. You can't move it to a different spot without it causing changes. So you just need to be aware of that. I mean, these weird codes mean something. That actually inserts a blank line of space in your text. So as you go through and you make all those changes, be really, really, really careful. But there's no real reason you can't make them. So make all the changes you're interested in making, view them in the HTML Firefox document to make sure they're working out okay. Save all your changes that you've made in your Notepad document, and then email me that final file, and then I'll just run the software that will convert it to a Kindle for you.